Morning, welcome to Peeex Fishing. You're with Connelly yet again. We are here at 5:30 in the morning with a very balmy 18 degrees, and today I'm going to sneak out to the Noisies again to see what I can get onto there. I was out with some clients a couple of days ago and we got some very nice fish just using softies actually. The Kabura lures are doing okay, but it's catching the sort of mid-sized ones, but these guys are after the bigger fish, so we got on the good soft baits and some pretty big fish out there at the moment. So I'm not really chasing the big ones. However, I might have a bit of a sniff around in the shallows. So if I do get one, I can release it quite safe because they're pretty special. Anyway, we're going to get a little bit of rain today. You can see the sky there. It's forecast for rain, just light showers, nothing too dramatic, and no wind. Well, light wind, so it can rain as much as it wants. Doesn't bother me in the slightest. It's the wind. It's a fisherman's enemy. But anyway, we'll go down, get it going. Well, it's meant to be 10 knots at the moment down here, according to the predict wind live forecasting. But there's not a breath of wind at all. So that's encouraging, and it's not raining like they're forecasting. So looking good. Oh, I better block that just in case that guy's not meant to be at work. There you go. It'll be tricky when you film tradies, you know. Well, there's someone's cup of tea. Already, here's another jet ski pulling up. Okay. Right, first fish of the day on the first drop, and it sort of feels like it might be a keeper. It's on the oh yeah, I think that's quite a good fish. This is on the new penny soft bait. That's what was doing the business the other day. And it's producing some very big fish. Yeah, this is a good size. When I play back the videos of catching fish, you hear a lot of grunting from me, so I'm going to try not to grunt as much. Yeah, it's a beautiful fish. Happy with that. So that fish, this is my little measuring system. It starts, whereas the V of the tail is there. So it starts there. I've got gradients marked off here. So that one, there's 40, that's 50, 60, so it goes up from there. So that fish is 40. And those are, as you know, if you watch my channel, those are the size fish I love catching because they are, in my opinion, the best eating. Right, let's get another get him on ice and get the lure down again. So that's the lure I'm using. It's a Z-Man 5-inch jerk shad new penny. One of my sort of go-to lures. It didn't used to be. I used to use a few different colours, and this one has been really consistent. Old Rodney Thompson from The Adventurer, which is where I write my little article every month, doing a report on the Hauraki Gulf. He put me onto them. He uses them down in Coromandel, and yeah, I've sort of stuck with them ever since. They just seem to be really, really good. So the reef system just running over here where I'm pointing. It sort of goes up there and down to about here, and you can run past it both sides actually. So this is why I like fishing this area, because there's no foul, well, unless you get on the reef, of course. But oh, there's a fish. Yeah, that was just a little guy grabbing the tail. Glad he didn't hook up. Alright, well, I've got a bit of action here. Yeah. Yes, it's quite a good sized snapper. Just go nice and slow. It's interesting because the Kabura, which is out, is not actually getting touched, and this was exactly the same the other morning. Alright, keeping the grunting to a minimum, he pulls up the snapper. Now, it's a good fish. So you can see there's his tail. I'm moving forward a bit there. There, that's right on the V, and that's the 50. So he's about, yeah, just over 50 centimeters. Yeah, so I've just moved down a bit. I was getting a bit far away from the reef, which is why the running into the small fish, and I sort of moved down again now and back into the better sized ones. Not a thumper, but that's the size I'm looking for. Perfect. Yeah, he's just over 40, as you can see there. So that's the No, he's under 40, sorry. He's about 38. She's still catching every drop, but these sort of getting the smaller fish. I'm looking for something just a little bit bigger. So I'm going to try the Nico head with the Baku Baku skirt and just work this lure a bit and see if it gets any bigger sized fish. And then failing that, I'll go to my 100 gram Abyss. I was just about to leave and I saw this huge school of snapper swim under me, so I thought I'd put one more lure down, and yeah, hooked up to quite a nice fish. So. Pulling a bit of string, so that's always a good sign. He's a nice one. He is a nice one. Well, I think this will be last fish for the day. I've got all I need, and this one feels like it'll be a keeper. And what I'll do on the way home, just go into a few of the spots around these islands and show you some of these beautiful bays that are here. And that might be a nice way to finish up the old video. But yeah, it's about 7:45 now. The bite's gone really quiet. They forecast a bite at 5:30 till 7:30, and they're absolutely bang on. So luckily, you know, I got here in time to get part of the bite, and it's gone pretty quiet now. Little fish are still biting, but this guy doesn't feel too bad. And I've actually eaten my lunch now, and it's 7:45, so I can't stay out for too long anyway because I'll have nothing to eat. I should have had a bigger breakfast. It's just too exciting to go. Oh yeah, this is all right. This guy will be coming home there. He's about 38 or 40, 38 probably. So this is the first little bay. This is on Tartar Island. So where we were fishing was just over there, and this is Tartar Island. And up here you'll see there's a little house here. So the family that own this island have owned it since the early 1900s, I think 4 generations. And that'll be their paddleboard there. They come out and stay on it over Christmas. There's no electricity. I think they have a nice getaway. You can just see the corner of the house there. It's a bit hard to see actually from here, but there's a little house there that's been there since the early 30s, I believe. But it's a lovely little spot, and this spot here is very popular for anchoring because you get protection from the northerly winds and nor'easterly winds. That's Motuihe Island, and in between the two islands there is a lot of current. It goes from 5 meters down to 20 meters, and it can be an amazing, you know, fishing spot there. A lot of fish hang out there for the food that comes through. There's kingfish there, there's trevally, there's, you know, good selection of. So that's the first one we're going to do, and there's the house. Well, there's the corner of the house just there. You can just see the roof of it. Okay, the next one we'll go to, this is Hauraki Island just here, and that has some really, really spectacular bays. They're gorgeous. So we'll go there now and I'll show you them. So this is the east side of Hauraki. I'll just see if it's got a name, this little bay here. Sandy Bay it's called, just through here. But these are where there's 17 permanent residents on this island according to Google. There's a lot more houses than 17, of course. You can see they go along the cliff there and right through there. But I believe there's a lot of holiday homes that people come out to here, but it's a really lovely little island. Some rocks here. There's quite a few gannets sitting over here, so there might have been a bit of action here this morning. But where the main entrance to the island is, well, not entrance, but you know, where the barge comes in and the ferry and whatever's just down here. So we'll go there now and have a look. Right, so this is the entrance here, and a few years ago they actually filmed America's Next Top Model, I think it was called. They hired a house on this island. That's where the girls were for pretty much the whole duration. So this is the entrance. This is where the ferry comes in here, and the barge with all the supplies for the island and the mail and all the rest of it. And that's Sandy Bay Island there. A little art gallery there, Rakino Art Exhibition. And these cars, I'm assuming, are just the ones that the people who own houses here would use in the summertime. Okay, let's go to the next bay. The next bay is even more beautiful than this one. Right, so this one's called Home Bay, and this is just on the other side. So where we just were was just over this hill, and this one's probably the only bay that's got houses right down on the beach. Now you can buy a house on Rakino Island. It has, you know, there's houses that come up for sale quite regularly, and they're not overly expensive, they're reasonable. Now that house up there at the top, I will zoom in so you can see it, it's all glass, it's quite a magnificent home, is where they had the the American Next Top Idol, no, hang on, let's start again. America's Next Top Model, there you go. That's the main service ramp there. I'm assuming that goes straight up to the house by the look of it. They probably had that purpose built. We'll go and look at these houses a bit closer in. So this is a private jetty for someone's home here. It looks like quite an old house as well. So we're in about, look how clear the water is, it's beautiful. Few oyster catchers there. So when I got back to Auckland, I did a bit of research on this house because it really got my attention, and it turns out it was built in 1862 by Governor Grey, and he built a church here which you can see in the distance, and some outhouses. And then a guy by the name of Albert Sandford leased this property and started catching snapper and started smoking them, and became very, very popular. So much so in 1881 he actually set up shop in Auckland, Sandford Fisheries, and they are still going today. They're a family-run business in Auckland, very, very large. They own the fish market down. If you ever come to Auckland and go to the Viaduct, there's beautiful restaurants there, and there's a huge fish market which is run by Sandford. So there's a really great bit of history, really interesting. And I'm going to go back and have a look. It actually sold for $2 million in 2012, and the little church and everything all comes with it. And it's quite a big bit of land, as you can see. But so that little jetty there, which is where I was cruising on the jet ski. So we'll go back now and continue. And this house here looks pretty old as well. Yeah, it looks really old. I think it's a church, or it looks like a church, but maybe not. Total fire ban. Really noticed the tourists coming back the last sort of 10 years. It's them now. It got a bit quiet on me now. Anyway, that's Home Bay at Rakino. And the next little island we're going to is called Motuihe, which is down there. And this island is very, very famous. I'm going to tell you all about it. But here we are, we've zoomed over and we've arrived. In the World War I, this island was used as an internment camp for German and Austrian prisoners of war. And they had one very, very famous dude on there by the name of Count Felix von Luckner, and here he is there, and he was a very skilled sailor, this guy. He was caught in Fiji originally and sent to New Zealand to be interned with all of his crew, which are pictured there, and I think there's 5 others. Now, he managed to steal a boat which was on the island called the Pearl, and they did this while getting ready for a Christmas party, so they used that as a distraction, stole this boat and had it all provisioned up and sailed all the way up to the Mercury Island, which is off Coromandel as shown. And once they got to Mercury, they stole a scow called the Moa, and they sailed that one up to the Kermadec, which is a really, really long way. And the plan there, that's them being recaptured actually, the plan was, once they got to Kermadec, was to raid the New Zealand stores up there and sail that vessel back to Germany. So there you go. Well, that wraps up this week, guys. Thank you so much for watching. If you haven't subscribed, please do now. Click the notification bell and you'll get notified when I put out a video. I try to put them out every week. So I do appreciate if you have any comments or questions about our little tour around the Hauraki Gulf there. I'd be interested in your comments. I think it's quite fascinating and interesting, so I hope you enjoyed it as well. Okay, we'll catch you later. See you next week. Bye.